Hi everyone, it's Laura here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to create a masked scene using stamps by Gerda Steiner designs. In order to create this cute masked scene, the first thing we need are some masks, and for that reason I am stamping the images on some repositionable packaging labels. These are some low-tack adhesive sheets that I can use to create my masks, but something like Post-it paper or Eclipse masking paper would also work. Once I stamped all the images that I need, I'm going to fussy cut them with my scissors, and I'm going to cut them directly along the black lines. Now, as you can probably tell, I am a little bit under the weather, so I decided to have a bit of a different format for this video. I will explain to you the main steps, but besides that there will be some music so that I can spare my voice a little bit. And I hope you will still find the video clear and entertaining. At this point I have some Neenah Solar White 110 pound cardstock laid down in my mini Misty. I die cut it with the Fawn small stitched rectangle Stackables dies. I used the masks to help me envision the scene I had in mind, and then I went ahead and started stamping the two images that I want on the foreground. This would be the piglet in the center and the chick. Once I stamp them, I'm going to cover them with the masks, and then I can go ahead and stamp the images that will be right behind those. So the rope where the chick is standing and the other piglet. I will mask those images too, and then I will stamp my final image, which is the third piglet in the row. Once I was done stamping, I masked the last image too, and I did that because I want to do some ink blending with Distress Oxides to create the background for my scene. I'm going to blend them with my Ranger blending brushes, and for the grass I used peeled paint and crushed olive, and for the sky broken china and tumbled glass. And as always, you will find a list of all the supplies I used to create this card in the description box down below, as well as on my blog, which will also be linked in the description box here on YouTube. Once I was done ink blending, I could go ahead and peel off the masks, and this is always such a fun moment, I can never get enough of it. At this point, I could go ahead and color the images. And I didn't color them before doing any ink blending because in case I had made any mistakes I wouldn't have had to start over and waste all the coloring. So I left the most time-consuming part, which is the coloring, as the last step for the background. Actually almost as the last step, but you will see what I mean in a little bit. For my coloring today I am using Spectrum Noir markers, and I am adding the shadows as if the light was coming from the top right of the screen. I did some pretty simple 3 marker shading, and I will list the markers that I used on screen for you to use as a reference. I will not show the coloring for all the piglets because it's exactly the same, so it's just a repetition and I didn't think you would need that. I will now leave you with some music to enjoy the rest of the coloring process, and I will catch you guys when the rest of the images are all colored in. After having colored my images, I decided that the background was a little bit too plain, so I wanted to add some water droplets. I would advise that you do this before coloring your images, but this was sort of an afterthought, so I just tried to be careful. I positioned all the masks in place, and as you can see, I'm also protecting the images with my hands, and then I flicked some water droplets using a paintbrush. At this stage, I also went ahead and stamped my sentiment, and this is also part of the same stamp set that I used for the images, which is the Chicken Scratch stamp set by Gerda Steiner Designs. For the base of my card, I used some knock-on-wood paper by Fawn, which I die cut with the largest rectangle in the Fawn large stitched rectangle stackable dies. And then I used the second largest die in that set to die cut the center out of my base panel. And this is just something I do to save some patterned paper. I glued everything on a top folding A2 card base that I created out of some heavyweight white cardstock. This is cut at 8.5 by 5.5 inches and scored at 4.25 inches. And to finish off this card, I added some details with Ranger glossy accents and Nuvo drops in Simply White. And that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can visit my blog for the full list of supplies and I'll catch you guys soon with the next one. Ciao!